that Israel's decision to act against the Hamas terrorist leadership in Qatar was a wholly independent decision by Israel. It was a decision taken by me and our top security force chiefs. It was conducted by us, and we assume full responsibility for it because we believe that terrorists should not be given a haven, and the people who planned the worst massacre of the Jewish people since the Holocaust cannot have immunity. So we did it on our own, period.
All I would add is that we are focused on what happens now. What happens next? What role can Qatar play possibly in reaching an outcome here that leads not just to the end of this hostilities, not just to the release of all of the hostages, both living and deceased, not just the disarmament and elimination of Hamas, but also a better future for the people of Gaza, which isn't possible as long as Hamas exists, which isn't possible as long as 48 hostages are being held. And so we're going to continue to encourage Qatar to play a constructive role in that regard. We're focused because at the end of the day, no matter what has happened, these fundamentals still remain. There is still a Hamas, there is still 48 hostages, and there is still a war going on. And all of these things standing in the way of a better future for the people of Gaza and a peaceful end to what's happening now. So we're going to remain focused on what we can do next.
In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, may the peace, blessings, and mercy of God be upon you. Mr. President, allow me to congratulate you on assuming the presidency of the Council this month. We thank you for quickly responding to our request to convene this meeting. We especially like to thank Algeria, Pakistan, Somalia, the UK, and France that asked for holding this meeting on our behalf. We also thank Ms. Rosemary DiCarlo, Undersecretary General for Political and Peacebuilding Affairs, for her briefing. We thank the Council members for adopting the press release today. We appreciate your solidarity with Qatar that we heard in your statements after the unjust Israeli attack on Doha that the press statement has condemned. The attack occurred on the soil of a main mediator. The statement stressed the commitment to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Qatar in line with the principles of the United Nations. We address the Security Council today in light of a dangerous escalation which constitutes a threat to international peace and security and regional peace and security. This is why it is at the core of the mandate of the Security Council as per the Charter. The Israeli attack, an unjust attack, at 3:45 on Tuesday, the 9th of September 2025, targeted a residential area allocated by the state to the negotiating teams. This is part of our ongoing negotiation efforts. These residencies house the negotiating team of Hamas and their families. The residential areas are known to all those who are engaged in negotiations, even diplomats and journalists that have held meetings with the negotiating team knows where these residencies are. We take measures to verify what happened, and it turns out that the casualties included Arif Bado, Saad Mohammed Ad-Dosi, who was 22 years old. He was martyred on duty. A number of civilians were also injured, and members of internal security forces working in the compound, they're receiving now medical treatment. We are trying to identify the identity of those affected. It was a residential area, and the attacks terrorized those who lived there. This area houses schools and houses different diplomatic residencies. The attack is a violation of the sovereignty of a state member of the United Nations. This attack is far away of the civilized behavior by states that believe in peace. Qatar is making tireless efforts to save lives, and this attack puts the international community before a test. Israel led by extremists, bloodthirsty extremists, have gone beyond any borders, any limitations when it comes to behavior, not only among states, but among individuals. We're unable to predict what Israel can do. How can we host Israeli representatives when they have commit this attack? Have you heard of any state that is attacking a mediator this way? A state that is attacking negotiating teams that are hosted by Qatar? And then the Prime Minister is using shameful justifications and is trying to justify this attack that is condemned by the whole world. The Prime Minister should have recall the model of Taliban. They had a political bureau in Doha, and we had a negotiation channel or a communication channel, and this channel led to reaching an agreement on Afghanistan that led to the end of the war after decades. The US have never targeted the negotiators over these years. On the contrary, the world has seen the success of these efforts in cooperation with the United States under the leadership of Donald Trump to end the longest war in the history of the United States in 2020. This is the approach we pursue. This is the approach that the Prime Minister of Israel is trying to distort. These continued violations of international law, this behavior that undermine all values, prove only one thing, that the current leaders of Israel are arrogant. And they believe that they enjoy impunity. In addition to the genocide in Gaza and the unprecedented humanitarian disaster in the Strip, and the international community has not acted yet, here we are. We can see that Israel is undermining the stability of the region impetuously.